The problem, Megan and Tom, stems from accessibility. We talked to a man who battled prescription drugs for nearly 2 years. He says the pills were easy to get and they nearly ruined his life.
At my worst point, it was every 2 or 3 hours I had to give my body something else.
He describes it as a dangerous, spiraling chain.
I really thought something that was prescribed, couldn't be that, you can get addicted to that so easily.
This 26-year-old recovering addict didn't want us to use his real name, so we'll call him Greg.
And, you hear those stories all the time, but you really don't think it's something you would get wrapped up in.
He had just graduated from college, where Greg says he drank socially but never dabbled in drugs. He was at a job he didn't like and was living with a roommate who had a prescription for Loratab, a type of narcotic painkiller.
He was always seemed happy and, in a good mood and stuff after that, so I, kind of just decided to try it once.
The high Greg experienced that day was the beginning of an addiction that took over his life.
It's like one maybe every couple days, something like that, and then, it just picked up to where, I could really use that, today too. I could really use that too. Oh, I could use that before work too.
When one Loratab didn't do the trick, he snorted more. 2 tablets, then 3. Eventually moving to stronger painkillers.
Several months in, it was just about, to get through the day. Getting
the pills was easy. Greg says he never sold drugs, but began digging into his savings to pay for his addiction.
It was, $250 to $300 a day, every single day, not a day off. I had used everything. I had sold everything. I'm lucky I still have my house.
He tried to quit on his own, but it didn't work.
And I think I got through maybe half a day, and the pain was so incredibly bad. Just cold, chills, sweats, puking constantly.
When Greg finally went to his family, they were supportive. He began a medically assisted program with Dr. Rob Ward at Project Reach.
It makes it almost physiologically impossible for some people to function without the drug. People feel like they're dying. They're so down, so sick, can't eat, can't drink, can't sleep.
Using a drug called Suboxone, he was able to get off the pills almost immediately. Suboxone is an FDA-approved medicine that suppresses withdrawal symptoms.
My idea of addiction before actually getting involved with it, why can't people quit? Why can't you be strong enough to quit?
But it took Greg more than willpower. The reality of quitting meant taking Suboxone daily, going to Narcotics Anonymous twice a week, and seeing a counselor. But now, more than a year later, his doctor says he's doing well.
Typically, the people that get wrapped up in this, end up either dead or in jail. I feel very lucky and blessed.
There are many avenues to recovery if you or anyone you know needs help. We've listed some of those resources on our website at WTVQ.com. In the studio, Alissa Santos, ABC 36, your local news source.